The lesson we're working on this week is lesson 3D, pectoralis. The pectoralis is made up of two muscles. There's the pectoralis major, which is the muscle we can see up on the top, and then there's the pectoralis minor, which is set underneath the pectoralis major. People work out because they want to have different results. They want to have a different look. When you work out your chest, if you want a thicker look up top, you need to learn to work from an incline bench. If you want more of a cut or separation on the bottom between your chest and your abdominals, you work off of a decline so you can see that separation. And if you work off of a flat bench, it kind of works the whole thing evenly. Let me show you what I mean. This is a movable bench press. The back of the bench can go up or down depending on how you set it. Some of the benches even go below the flat level and they come down to a decline. And I'll show you some of those benches in a second, but here's a decline angle. So we've got an incline angle, a flat angle, and a decline angle. When you work at the top part, you're working off of an incline angle, you would be focusing on the top part of your chest. When you work on a flat angle, you're working on the chest altogether evenly as a whole. And if you work off of a decline angle, you're working the bottom part of your chest. Let me give you some more examples. This is what it looks like when you focus on the top part of your chest if you are a bodybuilder. Notice how much shelf he has on the top part of his chest. That's a lot of incline bench work. You can see that difference right there compared to another chest. If you were to spend a lot of time working off of a flat bench, this is more of the result you might see. You don't have quite the same shelf as the last image, but you can see how the chest is full all the way through. And again, if you wanted to focus on the bottom part of your chest to make as much of a separation between your stomach and chest as possible, this crease, then you would work off of a decline more. And the more decline you work, the bigger and thicker it gets down on the bottom end of it. When people work out, it takes a lot of their time and a lot of their effort. So when people work out, they want to know exactly what it is that they're going to get out of it. And again, as I showed you, the higher up the incline, the more top part of the chest you're working. As you lower the incline a little bit, then you start to get more of a result within this part. Once you start going to a decline, then you notice how this is colored in a darker red. That's where a little bit more of the focus is. So again, the darker part, more of a decline. The darker part, more of an incline. And once you are straight up and down, then it's all deltoid. Now your pectoralis is not involved at all. So now you know the various angles of the bench and how they affect your chest. Now let's talk about the motion you do. This motion is called the fly motion. Notice, arms are straight, and as you bring them down to the side, they pretty much stay straight. There's a slight change in the angle of the arm, but not much. Your arms are pretty much staying straight all the way up and all the way down. You're not using your triceps. When you use your triceps, it's a pushing motion, but we're going to talk about that the next lesson. But this motion right here, going from straight up and letting it pull you back down with gravity in these directions, that motion is called a fly motion. And these are called flies. And right here, we're working off of a flat bench. So when you do flies off of a flat bench, like this image, you're working on the whole part of your chest. You're not really focusing on the top part. You're not really focusing on the bottom part. You're just focusing on the whole chest throughout. Here's a look at a fly motion off of an incline. So notice how the bench is sitting slightly up now instead of flat. Now we're working off of an incline. And you can see here where it's colored, the muscles that we're focusing on. And you see the darkest color red is that top part of the chest. But you also notice that the deltoids are now getting involved. That's because the higher up on the incline you go, the more deltoids get involved. That's how you create that shelf that I was talking about earlier by making the muscles on the top part of your chest and your deltoids in the front bigger. And when those muscles are bigger, that's how we get that look where we have that big, thick part of our chest at the top. Here's another look at flat bench flies. Remember, a fly is straight arms out, all the way up, straight arms out, all the way up, till we get to this point. So the arms never break, they're always staying straight. And you can tell the muscles that they're working because the muscles that are working are colored in the darkest red. You also notice that a little bit of your front part of your deltoid or your anterior deltoid is working as well. But the main part here on the flat bench fly is this part of the chest. And finally, we get to a decline look. It's kind of hard to tell, but basically the hips are higher than the shoulders. Okay, it's coming down at a decline. And when you do a decline fly, you are working more of the bottom part of the chest. Notice that this bottom part of the chest is colored in a darker red. Okay, the top part of the chest is working. Yes, the anterior or front part of the deltoids are working, but the main focus is that bottom part of the chest, and that's how you really work on that little crease or that little line that people like. Two things that you should take out of this video that I've shown you is what a fly motion is, keeping those arms open and bringing them down against gravity and letting them stretch your arms and your chest back and then putting them back up. Okay, so that's the fly motion. And then the second thing is the angle that you work your fly motion from. Again, if you work off of a higher angle, you're going to be working more of the top part of your chest. If you work off of this angle, you're still working the top part of the chest, but not as much as when you were up here. And when you get down to a flat angle, you're working the whole chest, but your focus is not the top part like up here. Or when you get to a decline, it's more of the bottom part, and then obviously this angle is even more of a bottom part. And if you want to keep your chest even and not too top heavy or bottom heavy, you adjust your angles depending on how your muscles develop. Females don't get quite the exaggerated results as males do because males have testosterone in their body, but still, females can work on the top part of their chest with an incline, their whole chest with a flat bench, or their bottom part of their chest with a decline. It's the same thing as a man, but you don't get quite the same results as a male does because you don't have the testosterone in your body, which drives your muscles to get bigger and stronger as they work. Females can get pretty big and pretty strong, but males tend to get stronger and bigger because of the testosterone in their body, because men have more testosterone in their body than women. So women, don't be scared. Just because you work out, you're not going to turn into a man. It takes many years, and you can adjust it if you find yourself becoming too muscular. So what you should have gotten out of this lesson is the difference between the angles of a bench and how you work off of them, and what a fly motion looks like as your arms stay out and extended the whole time as you go up and down off of a bench. Next time we're going to focus on the difference when we do a pressing motion off of those same angles as opposed to a fly motion. Go ahead and start turning your cameras on so I can excuse you, and the one student that I asked to stay back, please stay back so that I can talk to you.